The people of Cuba have been under a brutal dictatorship for almost 70 years. There are signs of hope. People rebelling against the government, screaming for freedom. They want the right to vote. They want the right to own property. They want the right to actually go fishing in their own homeland to feed themselves when there's no food. Yet a bunch of billionaire white liberals went there this weekend with humanitarian aid, which I don't even know who received it. It looks like it was received by the government and kept by the government, as they usually do. They do not share the wealth. They went over there, they took selfies, they went on pretty much what looked to be a safari ride, looking at the impoverished Cubans there on the street and taking pictures. And there was one point where we know the power grid is suffering. There's no power. People are in the dark. Yet the Cuban government had enough power to give them 5-star hotels, fully lit, 3 meals a day, and a concert that caused even more blackouts, all given to tourists, but not the Cuban people. And here, let's see what this young lady has to say, because she speaks it well. And I'm going to try to elevate Cuban voices here, not non-Cuban voices that are going over there that love to see other people oppressed, and so they could go and white savior the place. Let's check it out.
I speak on the people that went to Cuba this past weekend. I had never heard of Code Pink before until just recently. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're communists, they're socialists, ¿sabes qué? They're a bunch of descarados, okay? Because
that means a-holes.
My delusional mind, in my head, I was like, oh, okay, all these people are going to go to Cuba and they're going to have so much food and they're going to take so much medicine. And then my Cuban people is going to line up and they're going to have boxes set up for them. There's going to be in these boxes beans and rice and medicine, diapers. Tú sabes, I thought that was going to happen. I don't even know why they thought that was going to happen, right? But what happened? It was the complete opposite. Qué descarado. They showed up at the airport clapping and then
it was a party, folks. First class trips over there. They had everything, folks. This is Yvonne Cruz over there on TikTok. Please give her a follow. This is disgusting. And people like Hasan Piker, who's a millionaire, going over there with what looked to be dressed up in $1,000 outfits, enjoying espressos from Cuba, being in 5-star hotels, talking about how bad capitalism is and how bad we have it here. When the only bad thing about the US is that a dummy like him is actually really, really successful. We've got to take the good with the bad, and the bad is Hasan Piker. What a piece of garbage. He is a racist, in my opinion. He is talking down on Cuban Americans. He knows more. A non-Cuban knows more all of a sudden. And they will call this lady wannabe white. White liberals will call this lady wannabe white.
They go partying it up. Look at this. Well, the Cuban people in Cuba was without electricity. Who do you think provided electricity for them to party it up? And what's even worse, you guys, at the end of the night, these people were able to go back to the hotel that had electricity. Everything was in darkness. They were able to go back to their air conditioning,
yes,
eat food, and have cold water and all that. Cuba people went to sleep without food, without nothing. Qué descarado. And then this, we're going to paint a mural. You know what's going to happen when the Cuban people walk through that mural? This is exactly, mira esto, come mierda. That's exactly what it's
that means they're dumb. Come mierda means that people are dumb. Yes, this group actually painted a mural, and they included boats, like, oh, look at me. And I didn't see any Cubans participate in making this. Supposedly they were going over there to interact with the Cuban people. I saw none of them interacting with Cuban people. The only interaction I saw was when one guy with a bunch of chains and he was blinging out, like they say, was taking selfies with the little kids or the children there. And that was ridiculous. And make no mistake, those concerts, Cuban people are not allowed there. The citizens are not allowed there. It's super sad.
Happening, okay?
By the way, real quick, another thing before I forget, on that painting they did on the wall, they were adding boats like Cubans in boats, because Cubans like fishing and going on boats. But it also symbolizes that a lot of Cubans got on those little boats to try to make it to the United States, Florida, to seek political asylum. And they've drowned there. They've died. Families have died trying to get there. So it's like a mockery all the way around.
Didn't see any of them handing out. You know what? It was all propaganda. It was all a show that the government was involved. How sad.
Cuban government was involved in this.
That's changed nothing. Made it even worse.
Yeah.
I'm going to play an audio for you guys because I said, Sobrino, what did these people pass out? I want you guys to hear what he said.
De frijol para los mayores, un paquete de galletitas eso, María eso, y para los viejos creo que no sé si le dieron un paquete de leche, no sé. No, a los viejos no le dieron nada, ni me recuerdo.
Okay, so that's somebody. Wow, this is a big insight. So she's speeding it up.
Paquete de galletitas.
They gave. Okay, so she's saying she spoke to a relative in Cuba or a friend in Cuba, and she asked them what did they give out, and they say a little cookie and let me see.
Eso, María eso, y para los viejos creo que no sé si le dieron un paquete de leche, no sé.
A glass of milk.
No, a los viejos no le dieron nada, ni me recuerdo.
They didn't even give the old people anything, he says. He doesn't remember.
Frijoles también para los viejos, o sea.
Beans.
Estoy hablando de que no sé dónde están las cosas que no.
Little Mexican things. Where was the medicine? Where all those food and medicine that you brought? Where do you think it's going? Qué descarado, how sad. You changed nothing because you didn't talk to any of the Cuban people. They
didn't talk to any of the Cuban people. And when Cuban people want the right to vote, the right to own property they worked for, and even doctors there, they work for the government. They get 90% of their paycheck taken as they're sold off literally to other countries. The other countries make deals with the Cuban government. What they do is they buy the doctors and they pay the Cuban government, and the doctors barely get anything, and they're forced to do that labor. They're forced to do that labor. But it's okay. Hasan Piker, the know-it-all, he's cosplaying as a revolutionary dude here. Fellow Cubans, don't let this guy cosplay you. This guy is a fraud. This guy's a fraud, racist, and also non-Cubans. I asked for your help. Please elevate this video. Help us out. These guys are 90 miles away. They've been 70 years of oppression. And I'm going to tell you, the Cuban people, once they are able to vote, they will take care of themselves. I don't think it's going to be a nuisance to the U.S. or the taxpayer as much as you think. And it's always good to have a friendly neighbor, because this is actually causing the economy of the U.S. more, because people are trying to immigrate here for a better life. They could stay in Cuba and make a better life there for themselves. Here you go, more. This is what he was wearing. Apparently this was all look, the glasses estimated at $1,300, the shirt $500, and then I don't know what this is, the ring at $3,500. All right, all talking about how capitalism is bad to the people and how democracy is bad and how the U.S. is bad. It's not perfect. The U.S. is not perfect, but you know what's way more imperfect? Socialism. Just ask all the millions of people who are trying to come here. Ridiculous. See you later.